test in there. I'm going to take a second try at this. And there we go. The first time I recorded this, there was some kind of weird error, and it didn't record properly. Anyways, so I'm going to try this again. So now I don't have any students in front of me, so I will be going faster because I'm not interacting with students. So that means if you're watching, pause and take time to do the work and then continue on and check your examples. This is section 1.3, setting up a price. And for warm-up, make sure you can solve anything like this. These are all proportions, ratios set equal to each other, and the way to solve it is cross multiply, divide by the loaner. Meaning, if you're trying to solve for this letter x here, take the diagonals, multiply across, 3 times 100, then divide by what's a loan. There's nothing across from it, it's across from the x. Divide by 5. So, in this particular case, x is equal to 3 times 100 divided by 5. X equals 60. Notice that all of these are out of 100. That's because today we're also going to look at percents. Try these other two on your own, this one and this one. And then, when we look at percents, 25, 65, and 50%. You've got to remember, a percent is out of 100. So to find 50% of 250, all you do is make it look like an equation that you know how to solve. We know how to solve this equation. So there's other ways of doing percent problems, and they work just fine, but I want to make it so that usually you have to solve the exact same style of equation. So this is the way I'm going to show you. It's not the only way. 50%, well, that means 50 out of 100. Whenever you see a percent, just think out of 100. Now, you want 50% of $240. So the other side will be out of $240. We want to find x out of 240. Once again, you cross multiply 50 times 240, divide by 100. The dollar amount is 120. And that makes sense. I hope you can see that 120 is half of 240. 120 is the answer. Try that with this and this. And remember, 25% is 25 out of 100. 65 is 65 out of 100. Set your proportion up, cross multiply, divide by the loan. Okay, take a look at this. This one doesn't have percentages directly in there, but pricing. Maurice is estimating the cost of stucco in a home. After calculating that the exterior walls are 3,600 square feet, 3,600 square feet, he determines the cost of the wire, paper, concrete, and labor. Huge job. A lot of money. If it was my pocketbook. $30,600 is the cost. What is the cost, though, per square foot for stuccoing? That's for 1 square foot. How much would it cost on average here? So, here's what we'll do. You take the cost of the large amount, so 30,600, divide that by the square feet that represents. In this case, 3,600 feet squared. If you divide that, you will find the dollar amount for 1 square foot on that job. So that's going to be equal to, use your calculator, $8.50 per square foot is his rate for stucco. I'll just put for stucco work. I don't know why. Okay, so that's $8.50 per square foot, and that's good to have that rate because if he has another job, he can just multiply that rate by however many square feet he's going to do. Now, I know the bell's going to ring in a second, but I'll keep on going. We had a class discussion as well. Hopefully, you can read these and think about them yourself and then check. So maybe pause and then just see. The difference between the amount a dealer sells the product for and the amount he or she paid for is called profit. You know that. It's the amount of money. Percent means out of 100, so this is B. A percentage is a ratio in which the denominator, the bottom of the fraction, is 100. In Saskatchewan, PST is 5%, and GST is 5%. If we have a Saskatchewan problem where you're buying something in Saskatchewan, it's a total of 10% for the sales tax. More about that later. Now, I'm going to just verbally do this one. We wrote it out and had a good discussion. Imagine that you're owning a clothing store. You sell your upcoming season styles at a price that allows you to recover the costs of ordering the clothing, plus a markup of 100%. What are some expenses that you would have as a store owner? Well, here's what our students came up with. Utilities, things like power, heat, telephone. Other expenses, I'm talking about rent, the space that you're renting, wages for employees, pay yourself a wage too in there, maintenance, you know, whether it's things like fixing furnaces or, well, it depends what kind of place you have. Fixing up stuff, maybe you need a cleaning staff if it's a larger place. The products, you got to stock the products. Before you sell them, you have to pay for them. B, what would make you want to set your prices even higher? Higher prices? Well, that might mean more profit. It might, as long as you don't price it so high you scare away customers. C, what would make you want to lower that sale price? Maybe be competitive with other people who sell similar products. Also, if you have a lower price, maybe you're going to sell more. And then maybe that'll lead to more profit because you're making more sales. D, what circumstances would you sell clothing for a price that would not cover your costs? Our students came up with two ideas. Maybe you are overstocked on an item and it just isn't moving fast enough, so you got to get rid of it. Or the other thing is that often stores will set something up really cheap so that customers come in for that cheap item, but hopefully they stick around and buy other stuff. Okay. Last thing here that we'll do is this problem here. Automobile tires are purchased in bulk from a wholesaler. In order to make a profit, they'll mark up the list price. A markup is the amount that you jack up the price to make some profit. If car tires are purchased from a wholesaler by Joe's Garage for $54.73 per tire, and he marks up the tires by 90%, that's his profit on them. A, determine the cost per tire that he sells them to his customer. I'm going to get a cost without tax, because that's how you always advertise first. And, hi guys, I'm just recording something for a class. The markup, let's figure this out. The markup is 90%, so 90 out of 100. And that's going to be equal to, well, what is the markup out of the $54 tire? 54.73. Cross multiply, divide by the loaner. And Big Joe there, the owner, is going to add $49.26 to the price of the tire. That's his markup in dollars. Okay? Then the price itself, pre-tax price, is going to be the 54.73 plus the 49 markup, 49.26 markup. That's going to be a total of 103 before taxes, 103.99 per tire. That's what you were looking for. Hi guys, I'm just going to finish this recording here, and then I'll be with you. Now, if you read B, Joe charges $8 per tire for balancing and installation. That's each tire. $3 per tire, you have to charge an environmental fee. You need 4 new tires. determine the total, and remember to add in that 10% for PST and GST. So let's add them up. I'm just recording something, I'll just be about 2 more minutes, okay? Just recording something, I'll be 2 more minutes. Just hang on. So he has to balance the tires, that price. That's gonna be $8 times the 4 tires. That's 32. Then the environmental fee. I guess I'll put environment. The environmental fee. It's gonna be $3 times the 4 tires. That's 12. The tires themselves before tax. Figure out that price. $103.99 times 4 equals $415.96. Lastly, you got to add them up for the P-tax price. Before tax is $459. Add them up. 96. Now you got to figure out what the tax is on that pre-tax price. The tax is 10%, so 10 out of 100, and X out of our pre-tax price, $459. 96. Cross multiply, divide by the loan. You get a pre-tax price of $46, or pre-tax, a tax amount of $46. Now that means your total price for the 4 tires is equal to the 2 prices added together, $459.96. Plus the tax. That comes out to be $505. That is the total price. 4 tires. Okay, time for my advice. Thanks.